Hey friends, it's Mike. It's Sunday. It's March 29th, 2020. And as most of you know who subscribe to my channel, maybe everybody knows at this point, my big presentation, Did the Beatles Write All of Their Own Music, will premiere on my Paul is Dead channel on April 1st at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Now, the URL for the presentation is going to change. So what you see right now is not going to be the URL that's going to take you to the video. And that's because there was one slide in the presentation that I decided to change up a little bit. It was a minor revision, but I thought, I've taken so much time to put this together. Let me just make the change. I'll feel better about it, and we'll let the video go with the revision. So soon, very soon, you will see a new video pop up on the channel that will say Premiere. It will look identical to the previous version, so there might be some confusion there, but what I'll do is once I upload the new one, the old one will be deleted, and so you'll only see one link there. Okay, so I'm hoping to have that done today. For some reason, YouTube is very, very slow today with the uploads, but I'll get it up today, and the video will also make its way onto my main channel, Sage of Quay, my backup channel. I have another Paul is Dead channel which contains all of the major presentations that I've done, and since this is the major presentation that I've done to date over the last 4 years, this will certainly be on that channel. I will upload the audio only to my Mixcloud account, my Spreaker account. I am now on Pandora, and it will also make its way onto other streaming platforms. Okay, so it's going to have a lot of coverage. I will be putting it up on BitChute because I don't trust YouTube. I have spent a lot of time ensuring that the content in the video was copyright infringement free. And what I mean by that is the video doesn't get blocked. Now, the blocking is done primarily by UMG, which is Sony, who owns the publishing rights to the Beatles material. So even if you have a very, very short clip, 5 to 6 seconds, YouTube's machines that look for this stuff, right, they pick up on it. It's unbelievable. It really is. And they will block the video. Other content you can use, it might be copyrighted, but the copyright owner has said, yeah, you can use it. I'm just going to pick up some ad revenue, not me, I mean them, for the video running. And that's okay. That's cool. But no, Sony, absolutely not. So that's been a bear to work through because you can have these very, very small snippets of a Beatles song to try to drive the point home, and UMG flags it, or YouTube flags it on behalf of UMG, and the video is blocked worldwide. So the process to try to get through that is, as you're doing the video, is to pause and upload it to your channel in private mode and see what happens. See if YouTube picks anything up. So that has happened, and so I had to work around whenever something got flagged and go to a plan B. So as of right now, there are no issues with any copyright material that would block the video. But the way YouTube operates is they may give you a clean bill of health now, but then 2 weeks, 3 weeks, a month down the line, they're continuing their process of looking and scouring, and then they can ding you a month from now. So a video that was no problem 30 days ago, all of a sudden is going to be blocked. So that's why it's going to be up on BitChute. I won't have those problems with BitChute. BitChute will just play the video. They won't be trying to scour for copyrighted material. Although, as I've mentioned, I have really done a lot of due diligence to make sure that there are no copyright issues. Okay, but we'll see what happens. Maybe, it will continue to have a clean bill of health from a copyright perspective on YouTube from now until forever. We don't know. We'll have to see, but I have to have a plan B in place, and plan B is it will be up on BitChute. Let me see. It's been a long haul to get this done. And going forward, I'm not going to be doing any more major presentations on the Beatles. This is pretty much it. As far as I'm concerned, from my own personal perspective, this is the icing on the cake. And I've taken this, along with the team, I think, further than anybody else has taken this. We've really, really pushed the envelope on this. And so I'm going to ride into the sunset with this presentation as far as the Beatles go. Now, I will host shows where I have guests that come on that have information. They want to present their research, so I will be in host mode. As an example, I still have about 2 or 3 hours of content that I did with Richard going back to last year. I have to get that out. Richard has covered some additional new information with me that is really mind-boggling, and we will, get some time to get that stuff out. Let me see what else. In this presentation, originally I had a segment carved out to do gematria and numerology, but what happened was I'd gotten to the 4.5 hour mark. I had just this monstrous amount of material to work with that I had to vet, and I had to piece together, get the storyline, the storyboard together, and if I had added the gematria piece to it, I would have easily have tacked on another hour. So 4.5 hours would have become 5.5 hours. So I decided not to do that. I decided what I would do is, there were two folks that have been working on gematria and numerology with regard to the Beatles, and I'm going to have them come on the show and present their material. One person for sure is going to come on. The other person I think is going to. So I'll have to talk to them some more and see if they're comfortable with presenting what they have. But one way or another, we will do a show on gematria, even if the one person comes forth who has done a lot of work. So we'll do that. Another friend of mine, Steve, and I know Steve is probably watching this. Steve, I'm going to get to your material very soon, over the next 3 or 4 days or so. But Steve's done a lot of work with regard to trying to figure out where biological Paul might be buried. So we'll do a show on that. I'm familiar with what Steve has and what he has shown on a particular forum that we both participate in, and it's very good. Okay, so again, some more food for thought, and we will do a show on that. Other than that, what's going to happen is I will continue to put funny clips up, clips which I think are humorous, like the recent one with Brian Ray, Billy's current guitar player, where he says that Paul McCartney is the best Paul McCartney in the world. Didn't we think there was only one Paul McCartney who was with the Beatles? So, the funny clips are good because a lot of times that grabs people. They can watch that, they can get a chuckle, and then they think to themselves, what is this guy talking about? There's only one Paul McCartney, so why is he talking that way? That's the whole masterfully speaking, right? And so I'll continue to put stuff up like that. A lot of times what happens is I'll find them on my own, but many times, friends of mine, subscribers and followers will send this to me and say, hey, Mike, take a look at this one. And, and I'll look at it and I'll start to laugh and I'll think, okay, you know what? Let me make something out of this, put a video together and put it up for everybody. So I'll still do stuff like that, but basically I'm going to move back to my main channel and talk to different guests on different topics. And, and some of my guests that I've had in the past, they've been waiting patiently for Mike to finish this, and so that we can get back to other stuff. So, but we will. The journey has been very, very long. 4 years is a long time to be doing this on a very, very consistent basis. And, it started off about this time back in 2016 when I bought the Memoirs of Billy Shears, the first edition, the Red Book, and, I read that and, I had to get my head wrapped around it. And then I wound up talking about that book on Sophia's podcast back in September of 2016. As many of you know, if you listen to my little updates here, that I didn't want to do that show. I didn't want to talk about this, and I just didn't think, it was going to be all that interesting, to be honest, to a lot of people. I thought, well, it's interesting to me, as a Beatle guy, having loved the Beatles and playing Beatle music and growing up with it. But, for a lot of other people, I don't know, I just didn't put a lot of stock in it. Only to find out I was very, very wrong. And so one thing led to another. The second show was with my good friend Mark Devlin. We did a show, and it just got traction from there. And then it just evolved. It got past the whole Paul is Dead piece, and it got into the whole Pyramid of Power. It got into the occult. It got into Aleister Crowley. It got into magic. It got into rituals. It got into everything. That's the one thing, like I've said about this conspiracy, is it contains everything. So that's why when people say, "Oh, I don't get it. It's only a guy in a band," and blah blah blah. There are people in the truth community who say that, So if you call yourself a truther and that stuff's coming out of your mouth, you're not a truther. That's how I kind of sum it up. But in any case, and I've said, and no disrespect to biological Paul, that his death is a subplot in this whole thing, because there's so much more going on around it. Actually, I should say there's so much that was going on before it, during it, and after his passing back in 1966. It's interesting because people will just connect into this whole biological Paul McCartney piece of this thing, but they never ask the same questions about Brian Jones and or John Bonham or Keith Moon or Jimi Hendrix or Janis Joplin or Jim Morrison, and the list goes on and on and on. Kurt Cobain and so on. It's something that goes on, right? And there's a whole occult piece of this thing, this ritualistic aspect of the entertainment business and the music industry. So that's what I found intriguing. I read books on it and I did research into it, but it really didn't hit home the way it did with the Beatles, because of what the Beatles meant to me from my musical background and my growing up. And then all of a sudden it got personal. You know what I'm saying? So in any case, so April 1st, it's going to premiere. Again, it will be up on my other channels. I will schedule my other channels for the video to be uploaded a little later, not 9 a.m. So I'm looking at like 11 a.m. or noon or so that my Paul is Dead channel and my subscribers here get first shot at getting to view the video. Because all of you have been extremely supportive and a very, very loyal bunch, just following all the work, and the support has been unbelievable, and the kind words, and so I'm going to make sure that we get it here first on this channel. Comments will be open, and again, 99.9% of the comments, I approve them. The only ones that don't make their way to the channel are those that are not constructive. They are immature and in the land of stupid. And I'm not going to put any stupid stuff up on my channel. I just don't bring stupid into my life. Most of the people who are non-value add, the low functioning, have been blocked and banned from the channel. So, what's left is all the good stuff, all the good people. Okay, so I'll leave it there. And April 1st, 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, be there or be square. And hopefully, at the very least, you find the presentation to be food for thought. I think a lot of people will find it's a lot more than that. But at the very least, we'll go with that. All right, everybody, have a great day, and we will talk soon.